In the year 2250, humanity's exploration of the galaxy had reached unprecedented levels. The United Earth Alliance, UEA, had established colonies on distant planets, and the search for intelligent life had finally borne fruit. The starship Intrepid, under the command of Captain David Harland, was on a mission to make first contact with the Thalax, a mysterious alien race known for their technological superiority. As the Intrepid approached the Thalax homeworld, Jalara, the crew marveled at the planet's beauty. Verdant forests, sparkling oceans, and towering cities filled their view screens. David stood on the bridge, his heart pounding with anticipation. Beside him, his trusted first officer, Commander Jada Sato, monitored the ship's systems. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the Thax," Jada reported. "Put it on the main screen," David ordered. The screen flickered to life, revealing an alien with striking azure skin, silver hair, and eyes that seemed to hold the secrets of the universe. She introduced herself as Lyris, a diplomat from the Thalax Council. "Welcome, Captain Harland, to Jalara. We are honored to receive you," Lyris said, her voice melodic and soothing. "Thank you, Lyris. The honor is ours," David replied, captivated by her presence. "We come in peace and hope to establish a lasting friendship between our peoples." Lyris smiled, a gesture that seemed both genuine and enigmatic. "We too seek harmony. Please follow our guidance to the landing site." As the Intrepid descended through Jalara's atmosphere, David couldn't shake the feeling that this mission would be more significant than anyone anticipated. Little did he know, it would change his life forever. Upon landing, David and his diplomatic team, including Jada and the ship's xenobiologist, Dr. Elena Martinez, were escorted to the Thalax Council chamber. The architecture was breathtaking, with intricate designs and glowing crystals that seemed to pulse with life. The Thalax Council members greeted them, but David quickly sensed an undercurrent of tension. Some counselors eyed the humans with suspicion, while others seemed genuinely curious and welcoming. "Captain Harland, allow me to introduce the Thalax Council," Lyris said, gesturing to the assembled aliens. "This is High Counselor Varric, our leader." Varric, an imposing figure with a regal bearing, stepped forward. "Welcome, Captain. We are eager to learn about your people and share our knowledge." David nodded respectfully. "We share the same eagerness, High Counselor. We believe there is much we can accomplish together." As the discussions began, it became clear that not all Thalax were united in their views. Counselor Zayler, a vocal skeptic, questioned humanity's intentions and capabilities. "What guarantee do we have that your people will not bring conflict and destruction to our world?" Zayler challenged. David remained composed. "Our mission is one of peace and cooperation. We seek allies, not enemies." Lyris intervened, her voice calm but firm. "Counselor Zayler, we must give our guests a chance. Prejudice and fear will only hinder our progress." Despite Lyris's support, the diplomatic talks were fraught with tension. David found himself drawn to Lyris, not just for her beauty, but for her wisdom and kindness. During a break in the negotiations, they walked through the Thalax gardens, discussing their hopes and fears for the future. "Lyris, I've sensed that you have concerns about the Council," David said, glancing at her. She sighed, her eyes reflecting a deep sorrow. "There are those among us who fear change and cling to old ways. But I believe in the potential for unity and understanding. It is why I fight for peace." David felt a connection to Lyris that went beyond mere diplomacy. He admired her strength and shared her vision of a better future. Little did they know their alliance would soon be tested in ways they could never have imagined. While exploring the Thalax city, David's curiosity led him to a secluded area off the main path. The architecture became more ancient and less maintained, hinting at secrets long forgotten. Lyris, who had been accompanying him, hesitated as they approached a grand yet crumbling structure. "This place is forbidden to most," she whispered, her voice filled with apprehension. "It holds knowledge and technology from our ancestors, things that some believe should remain hidden." Intrigued, David gently pushed open the heavy doors, revealing a vast chamber filled with strange, glowing devices and intricate carvings. The air hummed with energy, and David felt a strange sensation, as if the room itself were alive. Lyris followed him inside, her expression a mix of awe and fear. "This is the Chamber of Origins. It contains the essence of our civilization's greatest achievements and darkest secrets." David approached a central pedestal, where a crystalline device pulsed with an otherworldly light. Lyris explained that it was the core of knowledge, capable of manipulating genetics and altering life itself. "Our ancestors used this technology to enhance our species," Lyris said, her voice trembling. "But it was also used to wage wars and control others. A faction within the Thalx seeks to revive these practices for their own gain." David's heart pounded as he realized the implications. "This technology, it could be dangerous if it falls into the wrong hands. We need to stop them." Lyris nodded, her resolve strengthening. "There is a resistance movement within the Thalx, fighting to prevent the misuse of this power. I am a part of it, and we need your help, David." As they left the chamber, David's mind raced with thoughts of the impending threat and the alliance he would need to forge with Lyris and her resistance. He knew that the fate of both their civilizations depended on their success. Back on the Intrepid, David gathered his senior officers. "We have discovered something that changes everything," he began, explaining the situation. "We need to support the Thalax resistance and prevent this technology from being weaponized." Commander Sato, Dr. Martinez, and the others listened intently, their expressions reflecting the gravity of the situation. "We're with you, Captain," Jada said firmly. "We'll do whatever it takes." As the crew prepared for their next move, David found himself alone in his quarters, deep in thought. The connection he felt with Lyris was growing stronger, and he couldn't shake the feeling that their destinies were intertwined. A soft chime interrupted his thoughts. The door slid open, and Lyris entered, her eyes filled with determination. "David, I believe in you. Together, we can stop this threat and build a future of peace." David took her hand, a sense of purpose and hope surging through him. "We'll do it, Lyris. For our people, for our future." As they stood together, ready to face the challenges ahead, David knew that this was just the beginning of their journey. The battle for freedom and the bonds they would forge along the way would shape the fate of their worlds for generations to come. As David and Lyris walked back from the Chamber of Origins, they discussed the details of the resistance movement. The group was small, but determined, consisting of Thalax citizens who believed in peace and opposed the faction's aggressive agenda. They had been working in the shadows, gathering intelligence and recruiting allies from other oppressed races. The next day, Lyris led David to a hidden resistance base deep within the forests of Jalara. The base was a hive of activity, with Thalax and other alien races working together. Zara, a fierce Cathari warrior with feline features and a commanding presence, was training a group of fighters. Rhina, an Elanthi scientist with bioluminescent skin, was busy analyzing data on a holographic screen. Lyris introduced David to the resistance leaders. "This is Zara, our combat strategist, and Rhina, our chief scientist. They have been invaluable in our fight against the faction." Zara sized up David with her piercing yellow eyes. "So, you're the human captain who's caught Lyris's attention. Let's see if you can fight as well as you talk." Rhina, more reserved, gave a polite nod. "Welcome, Captain Harland. We have much to discuss." David spent the next few days learning about the Resistance's operations and strategies. He quickly earned the respect of the members with his leadership skills and willingness to learn. He also found himself growing closer to Lyris, Zara, and Rhina, who each brought unique strengths to the team. One evening, as the group gathered to discuss their next mission, David noticed a glimmer of hope in their eyes. They had a plan, and with his help, they believed they could succeed. The Resistance had identified a critical target, the Thalax main command center, where the faction stored crucial data on their experiments and plans. The mission was to infiltrate the facility, gather evidence, and sabotage their operations. David, Lyris, Zara, and Rhina formed the core infiltration team. Disguised as faction loyalists, they made their way to the command center, using a combination of stealth and subterfuge to bypass security. Inside, the facility was a maze of corridors and high-tech labs, filled with the hum of advanced machinery. They encountered numerous obstacles, from patrolling guards to sophisticated security systems. Zara's combat skills and David's tactical knowledge proved invaluable in neutralizing threats, while Rina's technical expertise allowed them to hack into the facility's network. As they reached the central data core, Lyris accessed the system, her fingers flying over the holographic interface. "I'm downloading the data. We need to move fast." Suddenly, alarms blared, and the facility went into lockdown. "We've been detected," Zara growled, drawing her energy blades. "Time to fight our way out." A fierce battle ensued as the team fought their way through waves of security forces. David's leadership and the team's coordination kept them one step ahead of their pursuers. They reached the exit, but not without casualties. One of their members, a young Thalax soldier named Kira, was gravely injured. David carried Kira as they made their escape, his heart heavy with the knowledge that their mission had come at a cost. They had the data, but the price of freedom was high. Back at the Resistance base, Rina analyzed the data they had retrieved. The information was shocking. The faction had been conducting genetic experiments on other races, including humans, to create an army of enhanced soldiers. Worse, they planned to launch an assault on Earth and other allied planets. David's blood ran cold as he realized the imminent danger. "We need to warn the UEA and our allies immediately. This could escalate into a full-scale war." Lyris placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. "We will stand with you, David. We cannot let this threat go unanswered." As the Resistance prepared to transmit the information to their allies, David and Lyris had a moment alone. "We've uncovered something far more sinister than we imagined," David said, his voice filled with determination, "but we won't let them succeed." Lyris nodded, her eyes reflecting his resolve. "We will fight, and we will win, together." Just as they were about to send the transmission, an explosion rocked the base. The faction had tracked them down and launched an attack. Chaos erupted as the Resistance scrambled to defend themselves. David and Lyris fought side by side, their bond growing stronger with each passing moment. They managed to repel the attackers, but the base was heavily damaged, and many Resistance members were injured or killed. In the aftermath, David stood among the ruins, his heart heavy with grief and anger. "We need to regroup and plan our next move. We can't let their sacrifices be in vain." Zara, nursing a wound but still fierce and defiant, stepped forward. "We'll rebuild and strike back harder. They won't see us coming." Rina, her usual calm demeanor replaced by a steely determination, added, "We have the evidence and the will to fight. They won't break us." As the survivors rallied together, David knew that the battle was far from over. The road ahead would be fraught with danger. But with allies like Lyris, Zara, and Rina by his side, he felt a renewed sense of hope and purpose. They would fight for their freedom, for their future, and for the legacy of those they had lost. The Resistance had regrouped and fortified their new base on a remote moon. With the data they had retrieved, they began reaching out to other races and factions oppressed by the Thalax. David, Lyris, Zara, and Rina worked tirelessly to build a coalition of allies, each bringing unique strengths to the fight against the Thalax faction. Representatives from various races convened on the moon. Among them were the towering, tree-like Ilari, the technologically advanced Zilani, and the amphibious Talkri. Despite their differences, they all shared a common goal: to stop the Thalax faction and ensure their collective survival. David stood before the assembled leaders, his voice firm and resolute. "We face a common enemy, one that seeks to dominate and destroy, but together we can stand against them. We have the strength, the will, and the unity to prevail." The room buzzed with energy as the leaders voiced their support. The alliance was born, and the time for action had come. They began planning a coordinated assault on the Thalax faction's stronghold, aiming to cripple their operations and rescue any remaining captives. As the plan solidified, David's bond with Lyris, Zara, and Rina deepened. They shared moments of quiet reflection, their connection growing stronger with each passing day. The love and trust they felt for each other became a source of strength and inspiration. The day of the assault arrived. The Alliance fleet, a formidable armada of ships from various races, approached the Thax stronghold. The Thalax faction's defenses were formidable, but the Alliance was determined and well prepared. David, leading the charge from the bridge of the Intrepid, coordinated the attack with precision. Lyris, Zara, and Rhina were by his side, each commanding their own units and contributing their unique skills to the battle. As the Alliance ships engaged the enemy fleet, the skies above the Thalax stronghold erupted in a dazzling display of lasers and explosions. The ground assault teams, led by Zara and her Cathari warriors, stormed the enemy's defenses with fierce determination. David's strike team, including Lyris and Rhina, infiltrated the stronghold, battling their way through waves of enemy soldiers. The fighting was intense, but their resolve never wavered. They reached the heart of the facility, where the faction's leader, Zarek, awaited them. Zarek, a cunning and ruthless Thalx, unleashed a devastating weapon capable of annihilating entire fleets. The Alliance fleet began to falter under the onslaught, but David and his team pressed on, determined to disable the weapon. "Hold the line," David shouted, his voice echoing through the comms. "We can't let them win." David, Lyris, Zara, and Rhina fought their way to the weapons control center. The battle was brutal, with each of them pushing their limits to protect one another and achieve their goal. The closer they got, the more intense the resistance became. In the control center, they faced Zarek in a final showdown. The Thalax leader was a formidable opponent, wielding advanced technology and deadly weapons. The battle raged on, and just as it seemed they might be overwhelmed, Rhina made a desperate move. Using her knowledge of Thalax technology, Rhina hacked into the weapons system, initiating a self-destruct sequence. "I've set it to overload," she shouted, her voice strained. "We need to get out of here, now!" As they made their escape, Zarek attempted to stop them, but Zara's combat prowess and David's quick thinking kept him at bay. The weapon's core began to destabilize, and the ground shook with the force of the impending explosion. In a moment of heroism, Rhina stayed behind to ensure the sequence couldn't be reversed. "Go, I'll hold them off," she yelled, her eyes meeting David's one last time. "It's been an honor." David's heart ached as he and the others escaped the facility. The explosion tore through the stronghold, destroying the weapon and taking Zarek with it. They emerged into the open air just in time to see the enemy fleet retreating, the Alliance victorious. The cost of victory was high. Rhina's sacrifice weighed heavily on them, but her actions had saved countless lives and ensured the Alliance's success. As they regrouped, David, Lyris, and Zara vowed to honor her memory by continuing the fight for peace and freedom. The Thalax faction had been defeated, but the journey was far from over. The Alliance had won a critical battle, but the war for their future had only just begun. United by their shared losses and newfound hope, they prepared to face whatever challenges lay ahead, ready to build a legacy of unity and strength. With the Thalax faction defeated and their weapon destroyed, the Alliance began to reclaim the territory and restore peace to the galaxy. The victory was celebrated across numerous worlds, but the cost of freedom weighed heavily on everyone's hearts, particularly for David, Lyris, and Zara. Rhina's sacrifice was a solemn reminder of the price they had paid. Back on Jalara, a memorial was erected in honor of those who had fallen. David stood silently, reflecting on Rhina's bravery and the countless lives saved by her heroism. Lyris and Zara stood beside him, their faces etched with grief and determination. "We must honor her by continuing her work," Zara said, her voice steady despite the tears in her eyes. She believed in a future where all races could live in peace. Lyris nodded, her hand gently squeezing David's. "We will rebuild, stronger and more united than ever. Rhina's legacy will guide us." David felt a deep sense of responsibility. The Alliance had to remain vigilant and work tirelessly to ensure that such tyranny would never rise again. As he looked into the eyes of his companions, he knew they were ready to face the challenges ahead. With the war behind them, David, Lyris, and Zara focused on rebuilding and strengthening the bonds between their races. They traveled to Earth, where humanity welcomed their alien allies with open arms. Diplomatic and cultural exchanges flourished, and the once divided galaxy began to heal. David was hailed as a hero, but he remained humble, always acknowledging the contributions of his friends and allies. He worked closely with the UEA and the newly formed Galactic Council to ensure a stable and prosperous future for all. Lyris and Zara became prominent figures in the new order. Lyris used her diplomatic skills to foster understanding and cooperation, while Zara's combat expertise helped train a new generation of peacekeepers. Their efforts ensured that the alliance remained strong and vigilant. Months passed, and the bonds between David, Lyris, and Zara grew deeper. They shared their hopes and dreams for the future, finding solace and strength in their love for one another. It was during one of these moments that Lyris and Zara revealed surprising news. "David," Lyris began, her eyes shining with emotion. "Zara and I have something to tell you. We are both pregnant." David's eyes widened in shock and joy. "How is that possible?" he asked, overwhelmed with emotion. Zara smiled, her feline features softening. "It's the result of the Thalax genetic technology. Our children will be a bridge between our races, a symbol of our unity." David embraced them both, tears of happiness streaming down his face. "This is the beginning of a new era," he said, his voice filled with wonder. "Our children will be the future we fought for." The news of Lyris and Zara's pregnancies spread quickly, sparking a mixture of curiosity and excitement across the galaxy. Their children were seen as a beacon of hope, a testament to the power of unity and cooperation. However, the pregnancies also brought unexpected challenges. As Lyris and Zara's due dates approached, they experienced complications due to the unique genetic makeup of their unborn children. Dr. Elena Martinez, now a leading figure in xenobiology, worked tirelessly to ensure their health and safety. "We've never seen anything like this before," Elena explained to David, who was growing increasingly anxious. "The hybrid nature of the babies is presenting unique medical challenges, but we're doing everything we can." Despite the difficulties, Lyris and Zara remained strong. Their bond with David provided them with the strength and determination they needed to overcome the challenges. As they neared the end of their pregnancies, the anticipation and tension grew. Finally, the day arrived. The births were difficult, but thanks to Elena's expertise and the advanced medical technology available, both Lyris and Zara gave birth to healthy babies. Lyris delivered a baby girl with azure skin and silver hair, while Zara gave birth to a boy with feline features and bioluminescent markings. David held his newborn children, his heart swelling with love and pride. "They're perfect," he whispered, tears of joy streaming down his face. Lyris smiled weakly, her eyes filled with love. "They are the future, David. Our future." Zara nodded, her expression serene. "We will teach them to honor the legacy of those who came before and to build a galaxy where all can live in peace." As David stood with his family, he felt a profound sense of hope. The journey had been long and fraught with challenges, but they had emerged stronger and more united. The birth of his children marked the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with promise and possibility. The galaxy watched in awe as humanity and their alien allies embraced this new era. The legacy of David, Lyris, Zara, and Rena would be remembered for generations, a testament to the power of love, unity, and determination. Together, they had forged a future where all races could live in harmony, and their children would carry that legacy forward, ensuring that the light of hope would never fade. The galaxy had entered a time of unprecedented peace and cooperation. The birth of David, Lyris, and Zara's children symbolized the unity and hope that now permeated the interstellar community. Their daughter Ilara and son Kale grew rapidly, showing signs of inheriting the best traits from both their parents' species. David, Lyris, and Zara took on new roles as leaders and mentors. They dedicated themselves to guiding the next generation, ensuring that the hard-won peace would endure. The Galactic Council, inspired by their example, established new initiatives to promote understanding and collaboration among the diverse races. Ilara, with her Thalax intellect and human empathy, quickly became a prodigy in diplomacy. She had an innate ability to bridge gaps between cultures, earning respect and admiration from all who met her. Her silver hair and azure skin made her a striking figure, but it was her kindness and wisdom that truly set her apart. Kale, on the other hand, inherited Zara's combat prowess and David's strategic mind. His feline agility and bioluminescent markings gave him an otherworldly presence on the battlefield, but his heart was set on protecting the peace his parents had fought for. He became a symbol of strength and hope, a guardian of the fragile harmony that now existed. As the years passed, the family faced new challenges but always stood united. They navigated political intrigues, cultural misunderstandings, and even occasional threats from remnants of the Thalix faction. Through it all, their love and commitment to each other and the galaxy never wavered. One day, during a ceremony to commemorate the founding of the Galactic Council, David stood before a crowd of millions, his heart swelling with pride as he looked at his family. Lyris and Zara stood beside him, their eyes reflecting the journey they had shared. Elara and Kale were in the front row, ready to take up the mantle of leadership. Today we celebrate not just the unity of our races, but the spirit of cooperation and understanding that has brought us here, David began, his voice resonating through the hall. Our journey has been long and difficult, but it has also been filled with moments of great joy and profound connection. He paused, looking at Elara and Kale. The future lies in the hands of our children. They are the embodiment of our hopes and dreams, a testament to what we can achieve when we work together. Elara stepped forward, her voice clear and confident. We will honor the legacy of those who came before us, and we will continue to build a galaxy where all can thrive. Together, we are stronger than any force that seeks to divide us. Kale joined her, his presence commanding. We will protect this peace with all our strength. We owe it to our ancestors and to the generations yet to come. United, we will forge a path forward. The crowd erupted in applause, their cheers echoing through the hall. David felt a profound sense of fulfillment. The dream they had fought for was now a reality, and it was in capable hands. After the ceremony, David, Lyris, Zara, Elara, and Kale gathered in a quiet garden, reflecting on their journey. We've come so far, Lyris said softly, her eyes filled with tears of joy. And we'll go even further, Zara added, her feline features softening with a rare smile. This is just the beginning. David nodded, his heart full. We built this together, and together we'll ensure it lasts. As they stood there, united in their purpose, the stars above seemed to shine brighter, a reminder of the endless possibilities that lay ahead. The galaxy was theirs to protect and nurture, and they were ready to face whatever the future held. The legacy of David, Lyris, Zara, and Rena would live on through Elara and Kale, a beacon of hope and unity for all. Their story was a testament to the power of love, courage, and the unbreakable bonds that can be forged between the stars.